What if I told you that hiring one customer service rep in the US costs you the same as hiring 3 to 4 equally skilled reps in the Philippines? I'm not talking about cutting corners here. I'm talking about English fluent, college-educated professionals who can match or exceed your local team's performance. I know this because I have built a 1,600-person company helping businesses do exactly this for the past 7 years. Today, I'm walking through the exact step-by-step process for allocating budget for outsourcing. So whether you are presenting this to your CFO, your board, or you're making the call by yourself, by the end of this video, you will have a clear framework to calculate your ROI before you spend a single dollar. And I have a free downloadable framework you can grab in the description to run these numbers yourself. So let's get into it. So before we talk numbers, let me explain why outsourcing is no longer optional for companies that want to stay competitive. So right now, the average customer service representative in the US earns between $38,000 to $46,000 per year. But that is not your actual costs. When you add employer taxes, health insurances, 401k matching, paid time off, and workers' compensation, your true cost per employee jumps to 125 to 140% of that base salary. So that $40,000 employee, you are actually paying $50,000 to $56,000 per year. And that does not include recruitment costs, training, equipment, or office space. Here is what the same role costs in the Philippines. A customer service representative earns 20,000 to 30,000 Philippine pesos per month. That is roughly 400 to 550 US dollars monthly. At the mid-level, you are looking at 35,000 to 50,000 pesos, or about 640 to $910 per month. Even when you add management fees, benefits, and operational costs through a BPO partner, you are looking at 60 to 70% savings. That is not about finding cheap labor. That is about smart margin management. And here's the part most people miss. The money you save does not disappear. It becomes fuel for growth. Hire more people, invest in technology, and pay your US leadership team better. Whatever moves the needle. So, let me show you how to build this into a budget your CFO or the board will approve. I call this the SCOPE framework for outsourcing budget allocation. S stands for size your need. C stands for calculate true cost comparison. O is outline your operating model. P, project your ROI timeline. And E, execute with milestones. This is the same framework I use when consulting with CEOs who are outsourcing for the first time. It removes the guesswork and gives you a defensible business case. You can download the spreadsheet version in the description. It has all the formulas built in. So let me walk you through each step. Before you calculate anything, you need to answer one question. What functions am I outsourcing? So don't start with headcount yet. Start with problems. Ask yourself, what tasks are eating up my team's time but not moving the business forward? What roles have high turnover that keeps disrupting operations? What work is scalable but currently bottlenecked by capacity? Common functions that outsource well are customer support and service, data entry and back office processing, bookkeeping and accounting support, lead generation and appointment setting, technical support and IT help desk, content moderation, and e-commerce operations. Once you identify the functions, calculate the full-time equivalent or FTE requirement. Here's the quick formula. Take the total monthly hours needed for the function and divide by 160. That gives you your FTE headcount. For example, if your customer support queue requires 480 hours of coverage per month, you need 3 FTEs. Write this down. You will need it for the next step. This is where most people make mistakes. They compare base salary to base salary. That's not how you run an outsourcing business. You need to compare fully loaded cost to fully loaded cost. Let me show you how. Take a customer service representative at 40 grand per year. Add employer FICA taxes at 7.65%. That is $3,060. Add health insurance. The average employer cost is around $7,000 to $8,000 per employee per year for a basic plan. Add 401k match, typically 3 to 5%. Call it $1,500. Add paid time off value. About 2 weeks equals roughly $1,500. Add unemployment insurance and workers' compensation. Another $500 to $1,000. Your total, around $53,000 to $55,000 per year for one customer service rep. That is $4,400 to $4,600 per month per person. Now let us look at outsourcing. A customer service rep through a BPO partner costs between $1,800 to $2,500 per month. This typically includes salary, benefits, management, office space, equipment, HR support, clinic, you name it. For mid-level roles like bookkeepers or technical support, you are looking at $2,000 to $2,800 per month. For specialized roles like developers or graphic designers, expect $2,500 to $4,000 per month. If you hire 5 customer service reps in the US, your annual cost is approximately $265,000. If you hire the same 5 roles through a BPO, your annual cost is approximately $108,000 to $150,000. Your annual savings between $115,000 and $157,000. That is a 50 to 60% reduction in cost for the same function. Put this in the table. CFO loves tables. Download the framework and the comparison sheet is already built. Now you need to decide how you want to structure your outsourcing. There are 3 main models here. Model number 1, full BPO partnership. The outsourcing company handles everything from recruitment to training, HR, payroll, office space, equipment, and management. You pay a monthly rate per person or per seat. This is best for companies with no experience in outsourcing just yet, or those who want a hands-off approach. The typical cost is between $1,800 to $2,500 per person per month, depending on the role complexity. Model number 2 is employer of record. You recruit and manage the team. The EOR handles just legal employment, payroll, compliance, and benefits. This is best for companies that want more control over hiring and team culture. The typical cost is around $400 to $800 per person per month for EOR services, plus the employee salary. Model number 3 is direct hiring with entity setup. So you establish your own legal entity in the Philippines and hire directly. This is best for large companies with 100 plus employees or those who are planning long-term operations. The typical cost is somewhat higher upfront investment of around $15,000 to $30,000 per setup, but lower ongoing costs. For most companies starting out, Model 1 or Model 2 makes the most sense. In your budget, include the model cost as a line item. It should be clear how much you are paying for the service versus the talent. This is what your CFO or board actually cares about. When do we see the return? Here's how to calculate it. Monthly US cost minus monthly outsourcing cost equals monthly savings. Using our earlier example, $22,000 minus $10,000 equals $12,000 per month saved. Then calculate upfront investment including recruitment fees, if any, training and onboarding time, usually 2 to 4 weeks of reduced productivity, technology setup like VPN, software licenses, equipment, and transition costs, documenting processes and knowledge transfer. Typical upfront investment ranges from $2,000 to $5,000 per person for a smooth transition. Upfront investment divided by monthly savings equals payback period in months. For example, $15,000 divided by $12,000 equals roughly 1.25 months. For most companies, the payback period is 1 to 3 months. After that, every dollar saved goes straight to your margin. Monthly saving times 12 months minus upfront investment equals year 1 net savings. So using our numbers, $12,000 times 12 equals $144,000, minus $15,000 upfront equals $129,000 in net savings. That is $129,000 back in your pocket in year 1. Now tell me, what could you do with that money? A budget without milestones is just a wish. Here is how I recommend structuring your outsourcing rollout. For month 1, which is the pilot phase, start with 1 to 3 people. Just test the waters and prove the concept. For the budget allocation, maybe full cost for a pilot team plus 10% contingency for unexpected issues. For your success metrics, measure response time, quality scores, customer satisfaction, and manager feedback. For month 2 to 3, evaluate and adjust. Review the performance data, identify gaps, and refine processes. For budget allocation, same as month 1, no scaling just yet. Month 4 to 6 is the scale phase 1. If pilot succeeds, double or triple your team. For budget allocation, maybe increase headcount budget proportionally, but reduce contingency to about 5%. Month 7 to 12 is the full integration of your outsource team. They now operate as an extension of your company. For budget allocation, that's already a stable monthly cost. Built-in annual review for rate adjustments. Put these milestones in your budget proposal. Show your CFO you are not asking for a leap of faith. You are asking for a controlled test with clear checkpoints. If you are not the final decision maker, here's how you frame this. Lead with the problem. We are spending X on this function with Y results. Show the opportunity. We can reduce costs by 50 to 60% while maintaining or improving quality. Present the data. Use the comparison table from the framework. Propose the pilot. We start small, prove the model, then scale. You should also define success metrics like quality, cost, customer satisfaction, and team feedback. Set a decision point. Maybe in 90 days, we evaluate and decide whether to expand. This approach removes risk from the conversation. You are not asking for a permanent commitment. You are asking for permission to test. Outsourcing is not about finding the cheapest labor. It is about building a smarter business. When you allocate budget correctly, you protect your company from guesswork. You give your leadership team confidence, and you position yourself to grow without breaking the bank. So download the scope framework in the description below. Run the numbers for your own company. See what outsourcing could do for your margins. And if you want help, my team at Telework PH has been doing this for over 7 years. We have helped companies go from 0 to 50 to 100 outsourced employees without the headaches. Drop a comment below and tell me what function you are thinking about outsourcing. I read every single one. See you in the next video.